Hello moviegoers, CritiCarter here with another video response for the CTFxCinema Club. Today we're going to talk about Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along blog, directed by Joss Whedon and starring Neil Patrick Harris, Felicia Day, Nathan Fillion, and Simon Helberg. In this three-part web series, a supervillain struggles between wooing the girl of his dreams and once and for all defeating his arch-nemesis. When I first watched Dr. Horrible when it premiered back in the day, the name Joss Whedon didn't really mean anything to me. And I know that's going to be blasphemous for a lot of people, because he's, all the geeks bow down to Joss Whedon, we love him so much. He made Buffy and Angel and Firefly and Serenity and, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure I've forgotten. Oh, Dollhouse, that too. If there's anything that was terribly short-lived, he probably had something to do with it, even if it was awesome. The cast and the concept really drew me into it, because I love the superhero genre. And this basically takes that and inverts the whole thing. I can't think of a single instance before where you have the villain is your, at least for for the superhero genre specifically, or even in general, where you have a true villain being your protagonist and you actually feel bad for him. Because I mean, even when you got stuff like Sweeney Todd, yeah, the main guy, you could argue that he's a villain, and he does kill people, there's no getting around that. But I can see at a certain point you having a disconnect where you're like, okay, I don't feel sympathetic for this guy and the stuff that he's gone through anymore. Dr. Horrible, played brilliantly by Mr. Neil Patrick Harris. That you never reach that point, You see him and the stuff that he goes through to just be recognized by his peers. And it's not anything horribly terrifying or drastic up until, a certain point, and even then he's hesitant to do it. Deep down, he is a good guy. He just, like he says, the world is a mess, and I just need to rule it. He thinks he has, the best interests of the populace in mind. Like so many, he, in his mind, up here, he's the good guy. It's a really interesting dichotomy because, yes, he's the protagonist, but, the story obviously makes it clear that to the city that they're in, he is the bad guy, he is the villain. And keeping that balance where you have both of those elements at the same time is definitely something that is not an easy thing to do. So, we've gone through the merits of Dr. Horrible and Neil Patrick Harris ad nauseum. That's only half the battle here. The other half is Captain Hammer himself, Mr. Nathan Fillion, who worked with Joss Whedon earlier on Firefly and Serenity. The character is this brash, arrogant jerk. I could use some other words, but we'd have to bleep them out for the little kids out there watching. Who is your, big, invulnerable hero type that you see so often. And they really play off each other really well. When you have your, the good guy who you can't stand because your protagonist can't stand him, even though the protagonist is the villain. It all gets very murky, shades of gray kind of storytelling. And they're both, to varying degrees, fighting over this girl, because after a botched heist attempt, the girl gets introduced to Captain Hammer by Dr. Horrible, sort of, kind of. And she's no slouch either. I mean, personally I think she could have had, definitely she's the female lead, but Fillion and Harris are really the two mains here, and they distract from the other performances. Dr. Horrible came about during the 2007-2008 Writers Guild strike when, unfortunately, we were treated to a lot of terrible, terrible things. Basically it was, let's make a bunch of reality shows, and because we can't have the good stuff anymore, because the writers, rightfully so, I was behind the writers every step of the way, let me be clear on this. I was 100% for the writer's strike. They weren't being treated fairly. The writer's strike happened, normal production couldn't happen, so Joss Whedon got together some of his buddies, and it was like, hey, let's write up a thing with my brothers and get these guys to star in it, shoot it on the cheap. Dr. Horrible cost $200,000, and it looks spectacular. I've seen movies that cost 5 times that don't have the visual quality and the production value that Dr. Horrible has. Great writing, great cast, shot way on the cheap, won all sorts of awards. Not a single thing that I don't like about this, to be completely honest. And I'll take it one step further. I can't wait for the sequel.
Alright, hold on one second. We watched this movie with CritiCarter here. We just watched it on this TV. He brought the DVD. And I love Neil Patrick Harris. Okay? I'm going to say that right now. How I Met Your Mother.
You love Barney Stinson. You obviously don't love
Harold and Kumar. Alright?
No, don't.
The show.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
The show where he is a doctor or something. I didn't see that show yet.
Doogie Howser
Yes.
from the 80s when he was like 15?
I didn't see that show, but it's probably good. I was disappointed because when I heard that he was going to be in the movie.
Because he's not some crazy exaggerated character? I mean, this is...
No. There was just something about it. It was just kind of dead to me. That's not the word. There's too much silent parts where it just wasn't funny. Usually when something's silent,
because it's a comedy, so it has to be laugh out loud funny all the time.
No.
It's a tragic comedy. Sad things happen, but there are jokes. Oh, and in case you missed the title, Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog, yes, it's a musical. Don't let that scare you. It's an amazing thing. The songs are fantastic.
The songs were good. I'll give it that.
See, even DJ can admit the songs were good, and he hated it.
I didn't hate it. I never said I hated it.
It didn't move you. It didn't have the truth and the fire. You didn't feel the fire,
slightly
DJ.
disappointed.
Slightly disappointed?
Because
Slightly.
I expect more.
Slightly disappointed.
I expect more out of Neil.
What do you mean you expect him to be playing some wild womanizer like he plays in Harold and Kumar?
But I like shows that are short, movies that are short.
He likes getting the pain over quickly. You know, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off. Boom! Oh, I'm glad it was only 45 minutes.
I'll say this. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Why are you looking forward to the next one? You didn't like this one.
Because I didn't not like it. I just was slightly disappointed.
If you were disappointed, why would you want more disappointment?
And I didn't exactly understand what the meaning of the film was. I liked how it was switched around. I thought that was cool. But I just didn't understand the ending. Left me like, it's over? I thought it shouldn't have been over yet. I thought something
that's what the sequel is for, DJ.
That's just...
It makes you want a sequel. You should want a sequel. You know, it's hard to want a sequel. This one deserves a sequel, and I'm glad it's happening.
Don't argue with CritiCarter.
No, don't argue with CritiCarter. Please. We got another video coming up. You'll find out why. Make sure to give me a big old thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Fade to black.